Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Check, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, welcome to today's reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. We're starting this week reading. Sorry, a little late. We are continuing where we left off. I'm not sure exactly. I wasn't present, but I think, according to the bookmark, we're continuing from the chapter 10, verse 16, canto 3. So, before that, as always, we recite Mahima Stotra of Sanatana Goswami. Sarva Shastra Dipiyusha, Sarva Vedaika Satpala, Sarva Siddhantna Ratnadya, Sarva Lokaika Drikprada, Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu, Kalidvanto Ditaditya, Shri Krishna Parivartita, Paramananda Patnaya, Prema Vakshaksharayate, Sarvanda Sarvasivyaya, Shri Krishna Namostume, Madeka Bandha Matsangin, Madguru Mat Mahadana, Madnishtaraka Madbhagya, Madananda Namostate, Asadu Sadhu Tadain, Hatini Chocha Taraka, Hana Muncha Kadachinmam, Premna Harit Kantayospura. Translation. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all other worlds. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun reasoning in darkness of Kali, you are the exact image of Sri Krishna. I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me, always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone that joined today's reading. We are right in the middle of the third canto. Well, not yet there. We are at the end of part 1. We started last week Divisions of Creation, that's the title of chapter 10, and we are, I believe, text 16. If you know, you can always catch up. So if you didn't read the last bit like I didn't, I will have to catch up this 15 verses that I missed on Friday. So it's always good to be in line where we are. So text 16, translation. The sense perceptions are created in the third creation, and from these the elements are generated. The fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working capacity. Just to recap. Oops, what did I do? Wrong button. Oops, wrong button. Sorry. Just to recap, I think it started with Vidura asking the question. So from verse 1, Vidura is asking, let me know, just to recap, know where we are. So I know where we are. Please let me know how Brahma, the grandfather of the planetary inhabitants, created the bodies of the living entities from his own body and mine after the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please eradicate my doubts and let me know of all that I have inquired from you from the beginning to the end. So Vidura then is keep on asking Maitreya. So this is throughout this third canto, it's been going on. And then Sutta comes in and Maitreya starts explaining. So okay, there we are with Maitreya start explaining the creation. Okay, sorry, wrong button again. Okay, so 16 we did. how the sense perception are created in the third creation. So there are few levels of creation. And the fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working capacity. Okay, these are the technical, scientific approach. So text 17. The fifth creation is that of the controlling deities by the interaction of the mode of goodness, of which the mind is the sum total. The sixth creation is the ignorant darkness of the living entity, by which the master acts as a fool. Purport. The demigods in the higher planets are called devas because they are all devotees of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu Bhakta Smrito Daiva Asura Tatviparyayaha. All the devotees of Lord Vishnu are devas or demigods, whereas all others are asuras. That is the division of the devas and the asuras. Devas are situated in the mode of goodness of material nature, whereas the asuras are situated in the modes of passion or ignorance. Demigods or controlling deities are entrusted with departmental management of all the different functions of the material world. For example, one of our sense organs, the eye, is controlled by light. Light is distributed by the sun rays, and their controlling deity is the sun. Similarly, mind is controlled by the moon. All other senses, both for working and for acquiring knowledge, are controlled by the different demigods. The demigods are assistants of the Lord in the management of material affairs. After the creation of the demigods, all the entities are covered by the darkness of ignorance. Each and every living being in the material world is conditioned by his mentality of lording it over the resources of material nature. Although a living entity is the master of the material world, he is conditioned by ignorance, by the false impression of being the proprietor of material things. The energy of the Lord, called avidya, is the bewildering factor of the conditioned souls. The material nature is called avidya, or ignorance. But to the devotees of the Lord engaged in pure devotional service, this energy becomes vidya, or pure knowledge. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The energy of the Lord transforms from Mahamaya to Yogamaya and appears to pure devotees in her real feature. The material nature, therefore, appears to function in three phases: as the creative principle of the material world, as ignorance, and as knowledge. As disclosed in the previous verse, in the fourth creation, the power of knowledge is also created. The conditioned souls are not originally fools, but by the influence of the avidya function of material nature, they are made fools, and thus they are unable to utilize knowledge in the proper channel. So souls are not originally fools. That's good to know. But I'm made into fools. Very funny. By the influence of darkness, the conditioned soul forgets his relationship with the Supreme Lord and is overwhelmed by attachment, hatred, pride, ignorance, and false identification, the 5 kinds of illusion that cause material bondage. So, text 18. All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creations by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion, and who, in the matter of creation, has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead. Text 19. The 7th creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of 6 kinds: the fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no support, and trees with flowers and fruits. 20. All the immovable trees and plants seek their substance upwards. They are almost unconscious, but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness. 21. The 8th creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know their desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart. Purport. In the Vedas, the symptoms of the lower animals are described as follows. Attetarisham parshunam ashana pipase iva vikyanam na vikyatam vedanti na vignatam pashanti na vidushvastanam na lokalokaviti yatva bhuritamaso bahurushaha Granenaiva jananti hridya prapi svapriyam vastyeva vindanti bhojana shayanadi artham grihnanti. Lower animals have knowledge only of their hunger and thirst. They have no acquired knowledge, no vision. Their behavior exhibits no dependence on formalities. Extensively ignorant, they can know their desirables only by smell, and by such intelligence only can they understand what is favorable and unfavorable. Their knowledge is concerned only with eating and sleeping. Therefore, even the most ferocious lower animals, such as tigers, can be tamed simply by regularly supplying meals and accommodations for sleeping. Only snakes cannot be tamed by such an arrangement. 22. O purest Vidura, of the lower animals, the cow, goat, buffalo, Krishna stag, hog, Gavaya animal, deer, lamb and camel all have 2 hooves. 23. The horse, mule, ass, gora, sharab, bison, and wild cow all have only 1 hoof. Now you may hear from me about the animals who have 5 nails. 24. The dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, sajaru, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, goshappa, etc. all have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as panchanakas, or animals having 5 nails. 25. The heron, vulture, crane, hawk, basa, baluka, peacock, swan, sarasa, chakravaka, crow, owl, and other are the birds. 26. The creation of the human beings who are of 1 species only. Okay, so yeah, here it says 1 species only. We don't have yellow and brown and black and white species, but there's 1 species according to Bhagavatam. The creation of the human beings who are of 1 species only and who stock their eatables in the belly is the 9th in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent. Humans are always busy in the midst of miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all respects. This is very poignant verse. Purport. The human being is more passionate than the animals, and thus the sex life of the human being is more irregular. The animals have their due time for sexual intercourse, but the human being has no regular time for such activities. The human being is endowed with a higher, advanced stage of consciousness for getting relief from the existence of material miseries. But due to his ignorance, he thinks that his higher consciousness is meant for advancing in the material comforts of life. Thus his intelligence is misused in the animal propensities, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, instead of spiritual realization. By advancing in material comforts, the human being puts himself into a more miserable condition, but illusioned by the material energy, he always thinks himself happy, even while in the midst of misery. Such misery of human life is distinct from the natural comfortable life enjoyed even by the animals. Oh, what a verse. 27. O good Vidura, these last 3 creations and the creation of demigods, the 10th creation, are Vaikrita creations, which are different from the previously described Prakrita, or natural creations. The appearance of the Kumaras is both. Okay. Text 28, 29 together. The creation of the demigods is of 8 varieties. The demigods, the forefathers, the asuras or demons, the Gandharvas and Apsaras or angels, the Yakshas and Rakshasas, the Siddhas, Charanas and Vidyadharas, The Bhutas, Pretas and Pishachas, and 8. The superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. are all created by Brahma, the creator of the universe. Purport. As explained in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Siddhas are inhabitants of Siddhaloka, where the residents travel in space without vehicles. At their mere will, they can pass from one planet to another without difficulty. Therefore, in the upper planets, the inhabitants are far superior to the inhabitants of this planet in all matters of art, culture, and science, since they possess brains superior to those of human beings. The spirits and jinn mentioned in this connection are also counted among the demigods, because they are able to perform uncommon functions not possible for men. Text 30. Now I shall describe the descendants of the Manus. The Creator, Brahma, as the incarnation of the passion mode of the personality of Godhead, creates the universal affairs with unfailing desires in every millennium by the force of the Lord's energy. Purport. The cosmic manifestation is an expansion of one of the many energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Creator and the created are both emanations of the same Supreme Truth, as stated in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Janmadi Asya Yata. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Visions of the Creation. Jai, we are continuing to chapter 11, entitled The Calculation of Time from the Atom. I sense it's getting really technical, but bear with me. Text 1. The material manifestation's ultimate particle, which is indivisible and not formed into a body, is called the atom. It exists always as an invisible identity, even after the dissolution of all forms. The material body is but a combination of such atoms, but it is misunderstood by the common man. Purport. The atomic description of the Srimad Bhagavatam is almost the same as the modern science of atomism, and this is further described in the Paramanu Vada of Kannada. In modern science also, the atom is accepted as the ultimate indivisible particle of which the universe is composed. Srimad Bhagavatam is the full text of all descriptions of knowledge, including the theory of atomism. The atom is the minute subtle form of eternal time. The atom is the minute subtle form of the eternal time. Text 2. Atoms are the ultimate state of the manifest universe. Atoms are the ultimate state of the manifest universe. When they stay in their own forms without forming different bodies, they are called the unlimited oneness. Okay, I'm just reading twice things because they sound a bit difficult. And when they stay in their own forms, these are atoms, without forming different bodies, they are called the unlimited oneness. Okay, that's how they're called. There are certainly different bodies in physical forms, but the atoms themselves form the complete manifestation. Okay. Text 3. One can estimate time by measuring the movement of the atomic combination of bodies. Time is the potency of the Almighty Personality of Godhead, Hari, who controls all physical movement, although he is not visible in the physical world. Text 4. Atomic time is measured according to its covering a particular atomic space. That time which covers the unmanifest aggregate of atoms is called the great time. Purport. Time and space are two correlative terms. Time is measured in terms of its covering a certain space of atoms. This is really scientific. Standard time is calculated in terms of the movement of the sun. The time covered by the sun in passing over an atom is calculated as atomic time. The greatest time of all covers the entire existence of the non-dual manifestation. All the planets rotate and cover space, and space is calculated in terms of atoms. Each planet has its particular orbit for rotating, in which it moves without deviation, and similarly the Sun has its orbit. The complete calculation of the time of creation, maintenance, and dissolution, measured in terms of the circulation of the total planetary systems until the end of creation, is known as the Supreme Kala. Okay, here we see also today's scientists or those concerned with time, they know they got to this realization or practice that they measure the time by atomic clocks, same as the Bhagavatam is describing here. That's where the time is the most exact, where it's is related to. Even though we all standardly measure time by movement of the sun, as it's also mentioned Prabhupada mentions here. Very interesting. Oof. Text 5. The division of growth time is calculated as follows. 2 atoms make 1 double atom, and 3 double atoms make 1 hexatom. This hexatom is visible in the sunshine, which enters through the holes of a window screen. One can clearly see that the hexaton goes up towards the sky. Purport. The atom is described as an invisible particle, but when 6 such atoms combine together, they are called a trasareno, and this is visible in the sunshine pouring through the holes of a window screen. Text 6. The time duration needed for the integration of 3 trisharenos is called a truti, and 100 trutis make 1 Veda. 3 Vedas make 1 lava. Purport. It is calculated that if a second is divided into 1687.5 parts, each part is the duration of a truti, which is the time occupied in the integration of 18 atomic particles. Such a combination of atoms into different bodies create the calculation of material time. The sun is the central point for calculating all different durations. I think we all understand this. 7. The duration of time of 3 lavas is equal to 1 nimesha. The combination of the 3 nimeshas makes 1 kshana. 5 kshanas combined together make 1 kakshta, and 15 kakshtas make 1 lagu. Purport. By calculation, it is found that 1 lagu is equal to 2 minutes. The atomic calculation of time in terms of Vedic wisdom may be converted into present time with this understanding. Text 8. 15 lagus make 1 nadika, which is also called a danda. 2 dandas make 1 muhurta. Muhurta, we know. And 6 or 7 dandas make 1/4 of a day or night, according to human calculation. Krishna. But it's ambiguous. So 6 or 7 dandas make 1/4. Text 9. The measuring pot for 1 nadika or danda can be prepared with a 6 pala weight, 14-ounce pot of copper in which a hole is bored with a gold probe weighing 4 masha and measuring 4 fingers long. When the pot is placed on water, the time before the water overflows in the pot is called 1 danda. Purport. It is advised herein that the bore in the copper measuring pot must be made with a probe weighing not more than 4 masha and measuring not longer than 4 fingers. This regulates the diameter of the hole. The pot is submerged in water and the overflowing time is called a danda. This is another way of measuring the duration of a danda, just as time is measured by sand in a glass. It appears that in the days of Vedic civilization there was no dearth how do you pronounce it? Dearth. Anyway, it appears that in the days of Vedic civilization there was no dearth of knowledge in physics, chemistry, or higher mathematics. Means no lack, obviously, from the context. There was no lack of knowledge in physics, chemistry, or higher mathematics. Measurements were calculated in different ways, as simply as could be done. 10. 3.11.10. It is calculated that there are 4 prarahas, which are also called yamas, in the day and 4 in the night of the human being. Similarly, 15 days and nights are a fortnight, and there are 2 fortnights, white and black, in a month. 11. The aggregate of 2 fortnights is 1 month, and that period is 1 complete day and night for the Pitta planets. 2 of such months comprise 1 season, and 6 months comprise 1 complete movement of the sun from south to north. 12. 2 solar movements make 1 day and night of the demigods, and that combination of day and night is 1 complete calendar year for the human being. The human being has a duration of life of 100 years. Samvatsara shatam nirupitam, estimated. Text 13. Translation. Influential stars, planets, luminaries, and atoms are all over the universe. And atoms all over the universe are rotating in their respective orbits under the direction of the Supreme, represented by eternal Kala. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the sun is the eye of the Supreme, and it rotates in its particular orbit of time. Similarly, beginning from the sun down to the atom, all bodies are under the influence of the Kala Chakra, or the orbit of eternal time, and each of them has a scheduled orbital time of 1 samvatsara. 14. There are 5 different names for the orbits of the sun, moon, stars, and luminaries in the firmament, and they each have their own samvatsara. Purport. The subject matters of physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, time and space dealt with in the above verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are certainly very interesting to students of the particular subject, but as far as we are concerned, we cannot explain them very thoroughly in terms of technical knowledge. The subject is summarized by the statement that above all the different branches of knowledge is the supreme control of Kala, the plenary representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing exists without him, and therefore everything, however wonderful it may appear to our meager knowledge, is but the work of the magical wand of the Supreme Lord. As far as time is concerned, we beg to subjoin herewith a table of timings in terms of the modern clock. Okay, so let's see. 1 Shruti, that's 8 of a 13,500 second. 1 Veda, 8 of 135 seconds. 1 Lava, 8 of 45 seconds. 1 Nimesha, 8 of 15 seconds. 1 Kshana, 8 of 5 seconds, or almost 1.5 seconds. 1 Kashta, 8 seconds. 1 Lagu, 2 minutes. 1 Danda, 30 minutes. 1 Prahara, 3 hours. 1 day, 12 hours. 1 night, 12 hours. 1 Paksha, 15 days. 2 Pakshas comprise 1 month, and 12 months comprise 1 calendar year, or 1 full orbit of the sun. A human being is expected to live up to 100 years. That is the way of the controlling measure of eternal time. The Brahma Samhita 552 affirms this control in this way. Yachakshur esha savita shakala grahanam raja samasta sura murti asheshtejam yasyajnaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Sorry, wrong melody. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose control even the sun, which is considered to be the eye of the Lord, rotates within the fixed orbit of eternal time. The sun is the king of all planetary systems and has unlimited potency in heat and light. Text 15. O Vidura, the sun enlivens all living entities with his unlimited heat and light. He diminishes the duration of life of all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachment, and he enlarges the path of elevation to the heavenly kingdom. He thus moves in the firmament with great velocity, and therefore everyone should offer him respects once every 5 years with all ingredients of worship. Okay. With another instruction here to worship the sun every 5 years. Text 16. Vidura said, I now understand the life durations of the residents of the Pita planets and heavenly planets, as well as that of the human beings. Now kindly inform me of the durations of life of those greatly learned living entities who are beyond the range of a kalpa. Purport. The partial dissolution of the universe that takes place at the end of Brahma's day does not affect all the planetary systems. The planets of highly learned living entities like the sages Sanaka and Bhrigu are not affected by the dissolutions of the millenniums. All the planets are of different types, and each is controlled by a different Kala Chakra or schedule of eternal time. The time of the Earth planet is not applicable to other, more elevated planets. Therefore, Vidura herein inquires about the duration of life on other planets. Text 17. O spiritually powerful one, you can understand the movements of eternal time, which is the controlling form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because you are a self-realized person, you can see everything by the power of mystic vision. Purport. Those who have reached the highest perfectional stage of mystic power and can see everything in the past, present and future are called Trikalagnyas. Similarly, devotees of the Lord can see everything clearly that is in the revealed scriptures. The devotees of Lord Sri Krishna can very easily understand the science of Krishna as well as the situation of the material and spiritual creations without difficulty. Devotees do not have to endeavor for any yoga siddhi or perfection in mystic powers. They are competent to understand everything by the grace of the Lord, who is sitting in everyone's heart. 18. Maitreya said, O Vidura, the 4 millenniums are called the Satya, Treta, Dvapara and Kali Yugas. The aggregate number of years of all these combined is equal to 12,000 years of the demigods. Purport. The years of the demigods are equal to 360 years of humankind. As will be clarified in the subsequent verses, 12,000 of the demigods' years, including the transitional periods, which are called Yuga Sandhyas, comprise the total of the aforementioned 4 millenniums. Thus the aggregate of the above-mentioned 4 millenniums is 4,320,000 years. $12,000 times 360, right? You get this? Just checking. Okay, text 19. Translation: the duration of the Satya millennium equals 4,800 years of the demigods. The duration of the Dvapara millennium equaled 4,400 years, and that of the Kali millennium is 1,200 years of the demigods. As aforementioned, 1 year of the demigod is equal to 360 years of the human beings. The duration of the Satya Yuga is therefore 4,800 times 360, or 1,728,000 years. The duration of the Treta Yuga is 3,600 times 360, or 1,296,000 years. The duration of the Dvapara Yuga is 2,400 times 360, or 864,000 years. And the last, the Kali Yuga, is 1,200 times 360, or 432,000 years. Text 20. The transitional periods before and after every millennium, which are a few hundred years as aforementioned, are known as Yuga Sandhyas, or the conjunctions of 2 millenniums, according to the expert astronomers. In those periods, all kinds of religious activities are performed. 21. O Vidura, in the Satya millennium, mankind properly and completely maintained the principles of religion, but in other millenniums, religion gradually decreased by 1 part, as irreligion was proportionately admitted. Purport: in the Satya millennium, complete execution of religious principles prevailed. Gradually, the principles of religion decreased by 1 part in each of the subsequent millenniums. In other words, at present there is a 1 part religion and 3 parts irreligion. Therefore, people in this age are not very happy. 22. Outside of the 3 planetary systems, Swarga, Martya, and Patala, the 4 yugas multiplied by 1,000 comprise 1 day on the planet of Brahma. A similar period comprises a night of Brahma, in which the creator of the universe goes to sleep. Purport: when Brahma goes to sleep in his night time, the 3 planetary systems below Brahmaloka are all submerged in the water of devastation. In his sleeping condition, Brahma dreams about the Garbhodakashai Vishnu and takes instruction from the Lord for the rehabilitation of the devastated area of space. 23. After the end of Brahma's night, the creation of the 3 worlds begins again in the daytime of Brahma, and they continue to exist through the life durations of 14 consecutive Manus, or fathers of mankind. Purport: at the end of the life of each Manu, there are shorter dissolutions also. Text 24. Each and every Manu enjoys a life of a little more than 71 sets of 4 millenniums. Purport: the duration of life of a Manu comprises 71 sets of 4 millenniums, as described in the Vishnu Purana. The duration of life of 1 Manu is about 852,000 years in the calculation of the demigods, or in the calculation of human beings, 306,720,000 years. That's a lot. 25. After a dissolution of each and every Manu, the next Manu comes in order, along with his descendants, who rule over the different planets. But the 7 famous sages and demigods like Indra and their followers, such as the Gandharvas, all appear simultaneously with Manu. Purport: there are 14 Manus in 1 day of Brahma, and each of them has different descendants. 26. In the creation during Brahma's day, the 3 planetary systems, Swarga, Martya, and Patala, revolve, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activities. 27. In each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus he maintains the universe by discovered power. Text 28. At the end of the day, under the insignificant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe, merges in the darkness of night. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in that dissolution, and everything is silent. Purport. This verse is an explanation of the night of Brahma, which is the effect of the influence of time in touch with an insignificant portion of the modes of material nature in darkness. The dissolution of the three worlds is affected by the incarnation of darkness, Rudra, represented by the fire of eternal time, which blazes over the three worlds. These three worlds are known as Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha, or Patala, Martya, and Svarga. The innumerable living entities merge into that dissolution, which appears to be the dropping of a curtain, of the scene of the Supreme Lord's energy, and so everything becomes silent. Text 29. When the night of Brahma ensues, all the three worlds are out of sight, and the sun and the moon are without glare, just as in the due course of an ordinary night. Purport. It is understood that the glare of the sun and moon disappear from the sphere of the three worlds, but the sun and the moon themselves do not vanish. They appear in the remaining portion of the universe, which is beyond the sphere of the three worlds. The portion in dissolution remains without sun rays or moon glow. It all remains dark and full of water, and there are indefatigable winds, as explained in the following verses. Text 30. The devastation takes place due to the fire emanating from the mouth of Sankarsana, and as great sages like Bhrigu and other inhabitants of Maharloka transport themselves to Janaloka, being distressed by the warmth of the blazing fire, which rages through the three worlds below. 31. At the beginning of the devastation, all the seas overflow, and hurricane winds blow very violently. Thus the waves of the seas become ferocious, and in no time at all the three worlds are full of water. Purport. It is said that the blazing fire from the mouth of Sankarsana rages for 100 years of the demigods, or 36,000 human years. Then for another 36,000 years there are torrents of rain, accompanied by violent winds and waves, and the seas and oceans overflow. These reactions of worlds. Probably there's something missing here. These reactions of worlds. People forget all these devastations of the worlds and think themselves happy in the material progress of civilization. This is called Maya, or that which is not. 32. The Supreme Lord, the Personality of God, lies down in the water on the seat of Ananta, with his eyes closed, and the inhabitants of the Janaloka planets offer their glorious prayers unto the Lord with folded hands. Purport. We should not understand the sleeping condition of the Lord to be the same as our sleep. Here the word Yoga Nidra is specifically mentioned, which indicates that the Lord's sleeping condition is also a manifestation of his internal potency. Whenever the word yoga is used, it should be understood to refer to that which is transcendental. In the transcendental stage, all activities are always present, and they are glorified by prayers of great sages like Bhrigu. 33. Thus the process of the exhaustion of the duration of life exists for every one of the living beings, including Lord Brahma. One's life endures for only 100 years in terms of the times in the different planets. Purport. Every living being lives for 100 years in terms of the times in different planets for different entities. These 100 years of life are not equal in every case. The longest duration of 100 years belongs to Brahma, but although the life of Brahma is very long, it expires in the course of time. Brahma is also afraid of his death, and thus he performs devotional service to the Lord just to release himself from the clutches of illusory energy. Animals, of course, have no sense of responsibility, but even humans who have developed a sense of responsibility while away at their valuable time without engaging devotional service to the Lord, they live merrily, unafraid of impending death. This is the madness of human society. The madman has no responsibility in life. Similarly, a human being who does not develop a sense of responsibility before he dies is no better than the madman who tries to enjoy material life very happily without concern for the future. It is necessary that every human being be responsible in preparing himself for the next life, even if he has a duration of life that of Brahma, the greatest of all living creatures within the universe. We will 34, we will end at 34. Yeah, we have a few verses to go. We'll finish tomorrow. So we'll continue at 34 tomorrow, 6:30. Here online, Facebook, YouTube. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.